Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Oh, you mean the cougar?
Yes, I mean the cougar.
I'm Jenn.
And I'm Amber.
And this is Snatched Up.
All right, back to that elephant or the cougar.
Well, I'm Jenn. I'm 46, and I have never actually dated in my entire life.
Wait a minute. I think you need to explain that, because when you say you've never dated, never.
I mean, I've had long-term relationships, but I've never dated. I always just ended up having relationships with people that I worked with.
So all the men that you've ever loved.
Hold on now, not all the men, okay? Like it's a small circle.
Okay. So you've never dated. So now you're just now getting back to actually wanting to get back in the dating field and start actually dating with intention.
Yes. I've always dated people that I worked with, and I've always dated older people.
Yeah.
And so with that, I've never intentionally gone out on dates. I've been courted, but it's always through guys that I got to know at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not anybody that I'm swiping right or swiping left on. It's always just been somebody that I had the opportunity to get to know through work, decide if I like or don't like them, and then go out with them from there.
So you didn't pay attention to the corporate bylaws of don't date within the workplace.
Oh, no, we blew those straight out of the water. That's just me. That's life.
Right. So we've talked about this. Do we want to date older? Do we date? I've only dated older, I don't like dating younger. I'll say that. I've never wanted to date younger. I think there's been a couple of guys recently you've talked to that were a little bit younger.
So my last relationship, he was older by 5 years. My girl's dad, who's passed away, he was older by 9 years.
Oh, wow.
My relationship before him was older by 8 years. The guy I dated in high school and college was older by 2 or 3 years. And so I've just always dated older, but I think I dated older because they were further along in their careers. Plus, they were always people I worked with. So I admired their work ethic, or I admired their drive. My career has always been so important to me.
Right.
That heck with all those other red flags. I just like them because they're ambitious.
No, we got to pay attention to the red flags too. I think that's what we're learning.
Yeah,
all
for
of this.
sure. Yes. The last year of counseling. So, I mean, that's the thing. So I've been out of a relationship now for at 18, a little over 18 months. We tried to make it work on and off last year, but that didn't work.
Yeah.
And so then I decided to really start this year to date with intention. And so with that has been getting on online dating sites, asking friends to set me up. And so with that being said, this is the first time that I'm actually putting forth effort and putting myself out there to date. Now, I had tried beginning of last year, but I was still very much wanting to be with the person that I was out of a relationship with. And so I was dating to fill time.
Yeah.
I realized it wasn't the right thing to do. And so then I, as you know, spent lots of money and effort on healing and therapy, figuring out, slowing down, and really being intentional and figuring out why I was in the cycles that I would get into in relationships, and then also why I dated the types of men that I dated. Also figuring out other stuff. We all have issues. Our parents never try to damage us, but it's just inevitable. We're all going to do something that messes our kids up. And that's something that we talk about in our podcast.
Yeah.
But it's healing from our hurts from childhood so that I don't make mistakes that I did in my past relationships and my new relationships going forward. And I've just really worked on me this last year. So now I'm out here and I'm dating.
And I'm living vicariously through you because I'm enjoying hearing all of the stories that come back from the dates that you're going on.
Right. Because, I mean, you just got out of a relationship fairly recently.
Long term.
Yeah.
Very long term. 11 years. And he was older as well. So actually the oldest that I ever dated above. So I have this thing. I do not want to date somebody younger than me. Even the kid's dad was, I think he was like 2 months younger than me. And I hated that. I did not like it at all. I don't mind dating my same age, I guess, but I still want them to be like,
what is your adversity?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. You think younger and you think more immature, but that's not always the case either.
No, I'm
because
like
age is just really a number. And so when in my last relationship, because we did meet on Tinder, so I think
she was swiping right.
And it was my brother. David actually put me on the Tinder website. Sure. I swear he did. He set up my profile and everything. But anyways, so when he and I ended up swiping on each other, I do remember thinking, I'm like, because I was like 25 at the time, 25 or 26. I was like, he's so old. And he was 32, right? But he was 7 years older than me. So that was the biggest age gap that I've ever dated. And with that does come some challenges because he was at a completely different stage of life than I was, really, in some like career-wise, right? So he was further along in his career than I was. Like I think I'd only been with my job at that point in time for about 2 years, maybe not even 2 years, I guess. And so I was in a different career stage. He was further along. And then we were also at different stages, like relationship wise, I guess, as far as like, well, life wise. Like I had 2 kids that were very young. He had never had kids and had never been married. And I really liked that about him because I did want to have like that date with somebody who also hadn't been married. I realize now at this age, that's going to be harder to find, obviously.
Yeah.
Because most people have already been married.
Yes.
Except for you and me. And so, it's just, I've always had a thing where I just wanted to date a little bit older than me. But yeah.
Well, and I'll say, so I never really cared younger or older. Usually the guys that were older that I worked with were always more advanced. They were further in their career. And since that was such a hot button for me, my entire life was my career, it just made sense that I dated older. Yeah. But with that, obviously it came its own set of things, and so the guy that I dated before their dad, he had 2 kids and had been married before. And then their dad, he had 2 kids. So I was literally only 10 years difference in age from his oldest daughter.
Yeah. See, you have a different perspective in that from me too, because I have never dated anyone who has already been married.
What about had kids?
No. Because I've been in just very long-term relationships, right? So like the kids died and I were together on and off for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And then shortly after that, I started dating the guy in my last relationship, which lasted 11 years. So right at 11 years. Yeah.
So I think for me, I thought also if they're older, maybe they've got it more figured out than I did. And it
doesn't always mean that.
No, it doesn't always mean that at all. So I wasn't dating older men. I was dating the idea that somebody had it figured out already.
Yeah. Little did we know.
Yes. But now that I'm 46, I'm not picking based on age gap. So now I've set my Hinge inbox to up or down. And so here's the thing. I feel like I'm a young 46.
You are.
A lot of my friends are in their mid 30s like you.
Yeah.
And so,
I forget that you're 9-10 years older than me.
Yeah. And I played tennis with girls in their 20s. And so I feel like I'm a young 46. I have a 19, a 16, and a 9-year-old. So I feel like that makes me young at heart.
Yeah.
Before, I never really wanted to date younger.
Yeah.
But now I feel like I am younger. Like I feel I'm working out. I play a lot of tennis. I feel like I'm fun. And
you are fun. And the guy that you've been talking to though, that was younger, like what? Does he seem mature? Because I can't remember how much younger he was.
So I've talked to a couple. So, one of the things,
a couple.
Yes, a couple. I can talk to them. It's just talking. Anyways, so yes, some of them haven't had kids.
Yeah.
And so to me, where I have a hard time with that is at 46, my ticker is ticked out. In my last relationship, I had 2 miscarriages. And so I don't want to go through that again. Yeah. That was really hard and really wanted that to work out. And obviously it didn't. And if that person wants kids, I'm very much, ask them up front.
Yeah.
Is this something that you are sure that you don't want? Because the truth of the matter is that a guy that's 38 or 39 years old that wants kids, he can still find somebody that is not aged out like I am.
I wouldn't say you're aged out by any means.
Well, I am though, because obviously if I had 2 miscarriages and at 46, let's be real, by the time they graduated high school, I'd be 64 years old. Yeah, hell to the no. I'm not doing that.
So what you're saying is you're trying to keep in mind that if you are dating younger, that if it's somebody who wants kids, that's obviously not going to be a match probably for you. Long term.
And I'm not trying to waste time. As single moms, we are stretched thin.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have a lot of.
You want to be intentional.
And so, yes,
that's what it is.
I'm not saying that I want to go jump into every relationship. I want to go out and date and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want that to be with somebody who is looking for the same things that I'm looking for. I liked a guy that didn't have any kids, and he didn't necessarily at 40 know that that's what he wanted still.
Yeah.
But to me, I felt like he was so good with his nieces and nephews that I was going to rob him from that.
Yeah.
And so I just looked at him, and he was such a good person that I just couldn't, in good faith, sit there and let him give up on something that he did want.
Yeah.
You know, and then come to the realization a year later after I'm invested and my kids have gotten invested. I mentioned earlier, and you know, that my kid's dad passed away 5 years ago. And so to find somebody that is going to be in their life, it's not just going to be a stepdad role. It's somebody who wants to step up, and their dads can never be replaced, but somebody that wants to be there for them, who wants to walk them down the aisle, who wants to be there to judge their boyfriends. And not just dating for me, I'm dating for somebody that's going to fill a role that their dad, Andy's, not currently in anymore.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you know, I have to be even more careful on my selection and the red flags and all the things that I've learned over the last year.
Yeah.
So dating is fun. I've never done it before.
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize that
I'm having fun. Just I'll be like, how did your date go? I want to know all about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is fun. I mean, I've had some turd dates.
Yeah, I know.
For sure. But I think that I always used to be so worried about hurting everybody's feelings.
Yeah.
But I will say that the therapy and the healing that I've done over the last year has really focused on me having a voice in my own life and not being a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's been really helpful in dating, is to be okay with boundaries. I've never had boundaries. Ever.
You and I are both people pleasers.
Yes.
Have been people pleasers.
Yes.
Always have been.
Yes.
So that is definitely a big... Yeah.
And so in not being a people pleaser, I'm kind of weeding through some of these guys without feeling guilty.
Yeah.
And being able to say, this is a hard no. I mean, that guy the other day, he didn't have any kids. Remember the story I told you the other day?
Yeah.
And so literally, I know it's nasty. So listen, I am not going to call out guys on this podcast unless you are an absolute turd. I will call a turd a turd. Amber will tell you.
No, I'm going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, Amber will polish a damn turd, and she will polish it until it looks like gold. But me, I'm going to call a turd a turd.
I like being... Okay, I do. I'm on the softer side, I guess. I try to make it all sound so wonderful. My dad says the same thing. He's like, you could make a pile of crap look like a gold brick. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Yes, and that's
I can't.
Amber,
But
so I love her. But you know,
I try to see the positive in everything.
Yeah.
I try to make it a positive.
But so I had a guy the other day, younger, no kids. And he put on his profile that he's looking long term, right?
Yeah.
And he comes on and he says, I'm very intense. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by intense? And he's like, well, I'm going to want you all the time.
Oh, God.
I'm like, okay, I can live with that. It's been a minute, y'all. Anyways,
oh, my God.
Sorry. But let's be real.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I can live with that. I tell him that'll come down the road. I want to get to know you. I'm a good girl.
Yeah.
So then we're chit-chatting back and forth. He's being a good boy now.
Yeah.
And then he's like, do you like the beach or the mountains? I'm like, I like the beach. And he's like, oh, I can't wait to see you in a bikini. And he's like, that's enough for me. And I'm like, well, that doesn't take much. He said, well, I want to eat you out every day.
Oh, my God.
And I'm
what is wrong with men?
Slow down, buddy.
They hadn't talked like hardly at all, right? At this
no,
point.
this is
like,
all within a 5-minute conversation.
Like, that's what I'm saying. And that is what is so, like, men are just gross. Not all men, okay? But it's just too much.
So I said, you want to eat me out, buddy? I don't even know your last name. And he says his last name. And I said, you know what?
No.
Such and such. I won't say his name, even though I should because he's a turd. But I said, I wish you all the best. I am not your girl, but I hope you find somebody to let you eat you out today.
I don't know why. Like, are any women attracted to that?
No.
Is any woman literally attracted to that?
Oh, you know what? I did ask him, does that work with a lot of women?
Yeah.
And he actually was like, yeah, actually it does. And that just goes to say like the self-confidence and your self-esteem. I don't judge. So you can, if you just want some, then get on your Tinder site, say that that's all you want and swipe right all day long, right? But don't get on a site and say that you want a relationship.
Yeah.
And then want to just be a whore.
Yeah.
Male or female. State your intentions and mean them. And he was calling me baby and
that would have given me the ick.
Yes.
Like,
come on. You don't even know my last name.
No.
You're going to call me baby?
Too soon.
Yes.
Way too soon.
So, you know, and that has nothing to do with old or younger. Anybody can be a turd.
I mean,
So anyway, so that's kind of like, that's just one. But I have had other great dating experiences.
Yeah.
It seems like I'm having right now more success with guys a little bit younger.
Yeah.
A little bit younger.
I'm living vicariously through you right now because I'm not at that stage. Months ago, he and I had split and decided we were seeing other people and going on dates with other people. And I learned really quickly through that was not the right thing to do. And so this time around, we tried to work things out again. I was like, I'm going to throw everything out this relationship and the kitchen sink. And unfortunately, it still just didn't work out. And so now this time I am not getting back on apps or trying to date or talk to other men until I am fully ready to do so. And I'm not going to put a time limit on that. I just know that going back from what we did in like October and November, I really learned don't fill the space. You don't have to fill the space just because you're lonely or you're sad or you miss that person or that person is already seeing other people. That is the part I think that sucks because it's hard. But I've been really proud of myself for staying true to that. And even watching you having so much fun going on these dates and talking to you, it's getting me excited about getting back out there. But I also know I have to sit with this and really like 11 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It's a very long time. And so I don't want to do the same thing that I did again in October.
Well, y'all had a cycle.
Yeah, we did. It was a pattern and that kept repeating. And so it was an unhealthy pattern. And
let's just hold it up right there. She can call it unhealthy. Yeah, that's bitch. It was straight up toxic.
It was an unhealthy pattern. This is me suffering.
And I'm not, listen, and it doesn't mean that anybody's a bad person, right? That's the thing. The thing about our show is, have we lived through some stuff? Absolutely.
Yes.
We both have lived
Between
through
the two of us. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I have my own toxic behavior. You have your own toxic. I went and worked through mine.
Yeah.
You're working through yours.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the thing about getting out there and dating again is you can continue to have the same cycle and all you're going to do is put the different person in the place of that.
Exactly. Like you're just filling the space. And that's what I want to make sure with this, that I'm not doing that just because I miss him. I think that's been the hardest thing too, is I know that we both love each other and to walk away from something when you do love each other that much, but you know that it's unhealthy. It's the same pattern over and over and over. That's been hard. And to not fill that space with someone else because you're lonely or you miss being held or
the idea of who they are, who you created and the relationship you create in your head.
Yes.
And the parts is that they have a lot of great qualities.
Yes. And we learn things from each other.
Yeah.
So I can walk away saying, I learned some really great things from him. And I hope he could say the same thing as well. Right.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it doesn't mean like either one of us were just
I mean, my last relationship,
terrible people because we weren't.
Yeah. It taught me I think you come out of every relationship with something maybe good or bad, what you don't want or what you do want.
What you want. Yeah.
For me, like my last relationship, the tenderness that I learned is something that I never had before.
Yeah.
And so that is something that in my next relationship that is a hard for me. Like I have to have that. I will never go back to having a relationship without that tenderness. And then like we never fought, like we never had verbal altercations. For us, it was just a dynamic of he had his kids and schedules and
location, logistics.
And it was hard because I didn't want to move my kids out of a school district after their dad died, and he had his kids and they had to stay within a certain school district. So that's the thing that people don't talk about too, is when you're getting into dating again, do you date in your zip code because you know you're not moving your kids?
Yeah.
And so I think that dating people that do have kids in our age brackets is something that you have to consider too, because can you do a long distance relationship? I have learned that I can't.
Yeah.
I'm also now putting my house on the market. Now I have one that's graduated, one that's going to graduate, and then I have my 9-year-old that's going to go into middle school. Well, in middle school, she's going to be in a different pool of kids anyways. So that's my opportunity to move. So I'm actually selling my house and going to give myself an opportunity to move wherever. And so I don't know where I want to go. I'm not holding myself to that because it ruined my last.
She's not going too far from me though.
But I don't want, but that is something you have to think about in your relationships is, can you do a long distance? Are one of you willing to move? Because if you both have kids and your kids are both settled in separate school districts, what does that look like?
Yeah.
We have a saying in the mortgage business, I don't want you to fall in love with a house you can't afford.
Yeah.
Right? If you go and you look at the house that you can't afford, you got champagne taste and a beer budget, then, it's the same thing with a man. So if you date within the expectation and the limitations that you have, then you're not going to get your feelings hurt, right?
Yeah.
And that's what kind of the therapy and the counseling has kind of taught me is it's okay to set boundaries and to date within those boundaries.
Yeah.
Where I didn't ever do that before.
Yeah.
Then you don't get disappointed or mad or hurt when you're not at the same level, whether that means that they're just wanting to date and you're wanting to get married.
Yeah.
What that looks like. And so I think that that's important is that you kind of identify that as you come in. And so for me, dating the younger guy.
But you nip it in the bud before it ever even.
Right.
You don't even give it a chance to be.
Exactly.
An issue.
Exactly. So, so you're taking this time to kind of do the things that I did last year.
Yeah.
And so what does that timeline look like for you?
So I don't want to put a timeline on it because I feel like I'll just know. Like I said, I'll know when I'm ready to actually start intentionally dating again. We've talked about doing some things for the podcast, which we'll get into. And I will do those fun, quirky, silly things for the sake of the podcast. But I know right now I'm in a place where I want to process the entire relationship that we had, the entire 11 years worth of relationships. And I think for me, the biggest thing was I kept one of the reasons, like, you called it a pattern or a cycle. And one of the reasons why it was is because I was so hung up on the fact that I had invested so much time into this relationship and so much of myself into it. 11 years is a long time.
Very long.
Very long time. And so I think I even called you. I was listening to something. I don't know if it was off of a podcast or another podcast, and I can't remember what it was, but I called you after I listened to it because you know what? It really hit me and stuck with me is what is worse than 11 years is 11 years in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I kept getting hung up on what I would call the sunk cost of 11 years.
Yeah, the investment.
The investment.
Yes.
The entire investment. And so really when you realize that it is unhealthy and it's a pattern that just keeps on repeating and you can't seem to work your way out of it. I think that's the thing that sucks the most is that he and I both wanted it to work and wanted to get out of this pattern, but we never could seem to do it no matter what we did.
Yeah.
So at that point, as much as this hurts and as much as I know it hurt him too, to just cut that off and finally stop and say, I'm done with this.
Mm-hmm.
That took a lot. Mm-hmm. That took a lot. So, like I said, I don't want to fill the space with someone else. I'm not going to do that. I learned that from when we split back in October and November. I'm not making that same mistake again. That was obviously not what I needed to do. I think I came home and told you about some of the dates that I went on and I was like, oh my God.
Well, and I tried to tell you then, but you didn't listen.
No,
you've got to slow down. You've got to feel it. Like you just have to sit with it and say it sucks.
And we talk about this all the time because we both hate crying. Neither one of us like to cry. It's not weak, but I've always felt that way about it.
It was conditioned in me.
I had a little mini meltdown and it sucked, but I'm allowing myself to have those.
Yeah.
And when I stop having those is when I know, I think,
that you're ready.
I will be ready. When I can talk about it without crying or not have those moments that I need to take for myself. I was worried. I've been staying so busy between the kids, podcasts, work, just everything. Am I giving myself enough time to even process this? And I think when we first moved out, I wasn't. I was just relieved because there was so much stress. I was just like relieved from the peace that I didn't have time to grieve the loss. Right. And then we kept trying to make things work even after the move out. So there was no time for me to actually heal through it and work through it.
Ideally, if both parties would have been willing, in my case and in yours, to go and get the healing, it sucks when you really love somebody.
Yeah.
And one of you is willing to get the help and the counseling and the other one isn't.
Yeah.
And so
I think a lot of men just don't believe in counseling. I think it's more women that, let's go to counseling and do the work.
I will say I didn't necessarily go to counseling. I went to a life coach.
Yeah.
His name's Ryan Light, and it's called Beat Anxiety, but it was phenomenal. So the help that he gave me and kind of seeing patterns and seeing dating workmen, and the things that I did. And so now it's funny that you and I talk about it and you're like, okay, Jen, I am aware of the red flags now.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that I might not choose to.
I'm already having to tell her.
I can see the red flags. Now, whether I want
this is a recent one.
Whether I actually want to adhere to staying away from them. I'm just kidding. No, in all seriousness, I'm
She's
having
gonna make
fun,
the right choice.
but I am going to make the right.
You need to go have fun and allow yourself that. Like I said, seeing you do it, I'm getting more excited for myself when I'm ready to go out there and do that.
And I hated it when I did it last year, and I realized that I hated it
because you weren't ready.
Because I wasn't ready. Yeah. I've only been dating out for the last month.
She is going on date after date.
At least you had the closure.
Yeah.
At least you've got that. I didn't get the closure. I was held on to with hopes and promises, and I love you. I did the healing, but I still had the hope that my healing would be enough to carry us through to a successful relationship.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And then when I finally came to the realization, because he started dating somebody else, but
I'll try to tell you, but that's okay.
I know. I like to learn the hard way. Thank you.
Me too. So
I had healed and I thought, okay, I'm healed now. And it's a process. I think you learn how to heal. I think it's an ongoing process throughout your life, right? So it's
a journey. It's not just the whole thing is a journey. It's just not a destination.
And it's not even that when you go through therapy, it's not that you learn I'm all better.
Yeah.
It's that you learn your triggers.
Yeah.
And you learn how to change your reactions
because
the hurts are always still going to be there.
Yeah.
The hurts are there. You have to let them go. You have to forgive the people. As parents, we all make mistakes. I make them daily.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to realize that your parents are human and you have to be able to let go of some of the stuff. Both of our moms both passed away early in our lives. My mom passed away at 58. 14 years ago, and your mom passed away at
she was 54.
54.
And it's been 11 years.
So we both have been raising kids without our moms, and we want to cling to these relationships too. We both wanted our dads to walk us down the aisle, and so we hold on to things and we don't pay attention to things. And hey, listen, I will tell you, I was the bigger part of the problem in my relationship, my last relationship. Like, I will own every bit of that.
Yeah.
I thought when he could see, she's fixed herself, that
he would want
to work things out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not, and that's okay. And I had to come to that acceptance that even though I've healed, maybe it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
I healed for me.
Yeah.
And I healed for my kids.
Yeah.
And I healed for my future.
I think you're a little too harsh on yourself though, on that part, because I think both of us try to be very honest about ourselves, or very introspective. And I think you're a little bit too hard on yourself. I don't think you were, so much
my best friend.
That's
because she doesn't want to call a turd a turd. I was a turd sometimes.
No.
But I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit there and say it was all me by any stretch, because I have a lot of amazing qualities. I know that. But so I think that you're coming out, and you know that when you're kind of not having meltdowns, but I think my point to that I just went through my story is
many meltdowns. Many
I still have meltdowns, right? Because you still have the loneliness loneliness. You still have the, I want somebody to hold me. You still have the,
I want to go on a date, a nice date.
Like, I have the itch.
Oh God.
And so, y'all invest in Duracell because I heard their stock is going up.
Dear God. You're a mess. You are a freaking mess.
Anyway,
and that's why I love you.
So if y'all didn't know, I am the cougar. Amber is the cub to my cougar. She's 10 years younger than me. And we became friends because we became friends because we're both fun and we had a blast hanging out together. But we became best friends because we just have so much that even though we're 10 years apart, we're both single moms. We both lost our moms early.
Single moms with no co-parent either. There's no co-parenting. It is just us. Your dad is an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Something like
2.5 hours.
He's had health issues and stuff. And my dad is 3 hours away. And so we are literally, we're it. We are it.
We're it. And I think too, so their dad passed away, but prior to that, he had addiction issues. And so I've been a single parent basically since my girls were born. He was wonderful when he was sober and clean. And then when it wasn't wonderful, it wasn't. I held on to that relationship for 13 years.
Yeah.
And I loved him dearly. I was telling you earlier that yesterday his son has the same name as him. And when his name popped up on my phone because Drew got a new number in it. Yeah. And it popped up with his name.
Yeah.
I just started boohooing just because you miss that co-parent. That's the other thing. When you're dating, you've got to date with intention of not just, is this person going to be good for me?
Yeah.
Is this person going to be good for my kids? Because I think that you dealt with that. And so that's stuff that we'll talk about in our, Mama said there'll be days like this in our episode 3. And we're going to get into that. And dating younger men too. There's also
I'm not dating younger. I'm not going younger. I'm decided.
I had guys, y'all, that are 26 years old. I'm like, my daughter is 19.
So wait, how young is too young? Like what do we think is too, and how old is too old? How young is too young and how old is too old?
Well, I think
for you, what is your cutoff?
I don't really know. I mean,
because we've said age is a number.
Ages. So I think that I'm capping my age at like 52, 53 because I'm 46 and, and
you're young, 46.
And I'm young. And so, I mean, I feel like I'm a young 46.
You are.
And so because of that, it's really going to depend on the guy, right?
Yeah.
Are you an old 51 that wants to be in bed every night? Because Amber and I are both night owls.
Oh, God, are we?
And so
it's bad. We have come to Jesus meetings every night. Like we're going to bed early. I'm going to bed early. Meanwhile, around 2:00 in the morning, I'm like,
that's also because we're single moms. And both of us have successful careers. Yeah. So we're trying to fit our kids' sports in. There's nobody else to take our kids to sports.
Our own health stuff.
Like our own health stuff. Yeah, it's always.
Tennis. We play a lot of tennis. When
we can.
Together.
I mean, we play at least twice a week. But, so I think having time for all of that, but dating, it's just, like I said, a guy that's 37 that has kids, I'd probably still consider.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 9 years different than me.
I'm not dating somebody in their 20s.
No.
It's for me.
I'm like, that's a little,
that would be 27.
But would you date somebody 29?
No.
You would date anybody that any younger?
No, I'm 37 now. I just turned 37. And, I'm not saying he would have to be the perfect person for me to even consider like 35.
Come on, Amber.
I told you I don't like going younger.
Oh my God.
Now now
you're missing out. I think that you're cutting your business.
What about because now I have 2 kids too.
Okay.
All right. And just how we were talking about, I would not mind one more child. I would do it if it happened in the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted, I want to get married first and I want to actually have
that experience. Neither one of us got that experience.
No. And that's another thing I've talked about with my last relationship when he was not married too. I liked that because I want to have that with somebody. And I know now it's somebody else at our age, they're probably already going to be married. Unless I do go younger. I mean, maybe I should. I don't know. But, and
I had always said I wasn't going younger too.
Yeah.
But then
then you can train them.
No, I don't even think it's
I know.
But I think that, so many of my friends are younger.
Yeah. I could see you dating younger though. I really could. I could see you dating younger and it working.
Yeah.
So for me, you'd have to be perfect. But I just don't want to go
But I'll say, like, my last relationship, he was 51, and I never felt like he was 5 years older than me. Now, their dad, I did end up taking care of him through health issues at 9 years older than me.
Yeah, so you did feel that.
So I did feel that, you know, and so
I felt it on my 7-year. No, old man is what I ended up calling.
Oh, that's so funny.
He was active. He was more active than me, actually. So,
you know, and I mean, a lot of guys like to date younger too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not stuck in one category over the other. If you have an older woman fetish, I'm sorry, I'm not going out with you. If you are not at least 15 years old, if you couldn't have birthed my oldest child, I'm not going out with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, stuff like that.
Your cutoff is about 36, 37.
About 36.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you couldn't have had Charlie at 15 or 16, I'm not going out with you.
And my 2 kids are 16 and 13 now. I'm a young, which Bryant always says, he's like, Mommy's like, you're like the younger parent. It was unplanned. I was in college when I actually got pregnant with my son. So I was a sophomore, I guess, ending my sophomore year. But so how old is did you already say how old is too old?
So really like 53.
Okay.
That's kind of my.
So for me, I think it would be probably 7 to 10 years. So.
But you want more kids too. But I mean, guys can have kids longer than girls.
Yeah, but at that age, a guy may not want to have it.
And that's the other thing.
And they may have already had kids and they're like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I guess like for me, either way, it would be fine. But I did want that one. I wanted to get married and actually have a husband and have a kid.
Yeah.
So together with my husband, because I've never had that either.
Yeah.
So.
Even when you do start to date, are you going to date because you want a relationship, or are you going to date because you want to go out and have fun? I want a monogamous relationship that is going to, you know, turn into long term.
So I think it's kind of the same thing. You said like you never dated because you always went through work relationships, right? So for me, like I don't love often. And so when I do, I love really hard. We've had that conversation about both of us before as well. I went from a 7-year relationship with the kids' dad and then almost straight into, because I didn't do the work and the healing process, straight into the relationship that I had just got out of. So that was
made you
years.
Not look for red flags because you lost your mom.
Yeah, it all happened like right there. Yeah. Like, so I lost my mom. I had gone through this breakup and move out with the kid's dad. And literally, I think that was November of 2014, I think. And then my mom died like in January. Yeah. So it was a bunch of things that hit all at the same time. So I had a breakup, a move out, and then, my mom died. And then, I was going to court over the kids and stuff. So it was a lot like right there. And I went straight into, and so that also wasn't really fair to him either, because when I got together with my now ex, the one of 11 years, I was coming in with so much
red flags.
With so much, you know, because I had just lost my mom. I was trying to grieve and process through that. So I was not in any way, shape, or form ready to be dating at that point either. It was filling this space, but he and I ended up obviously falling in love with each other and wanting to be together. And the whole reason why I'm actually in Georgia is actually kind of because of him. So to answer your question in a roundabout way, I want to be able to go and have fun on dates, but the purpose is to have a relationship and to find the person that, to find my husband, basically, because I do want that. That's what I want. I don't want to just go on meaningless dates and do this over and over and over and over. I actually want to find my person, the person that's right for me. When I'm ready to start dating with intention and all of that, that is what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to go out on dates and have fun and stuff, but the purpose is to find that person. So it's not meaningless, you know?
So, I mean, okay. So basically to summarize, there's nothing wrong with older men, but they do tend to be a little bit more maybe stuck in their ways. They might have older kids. Do you want to be a step parent? Because let me tell you something. Yeah. Being a step parent is the hardest job I've ever done. Yeah. And I've had 2 very successful careers and had 3 kids and I have a huge family, and it is by far the hardest thing is being a step parent. Now it's super rewarding. I have 3 kids, and then I'm a bonus mom to 2 because Andy had 2 kids before that are still my kids. And so I'm still close to both of them. Right. And those are the things that you think about with older. And then we've already identified that with younger,
I'm doing it.
Whatever. I'm going to work on her, y'all. I'm going to work on her. Anyways, is making sure that they don't want a mommy or a sugar mama. Yeah. Right. I'm not going to do that. And then making sure that they don't just have a cougar fetish because, you know,
some men do.
Some men do. They do.
Yeah.
And then also they're not running from their last relationship.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because that's a red flag, is so you don't want to be a soft landing for them.
Yeah.
You know,
or the person that fills the space.
Yeah, or the person that fills the space.
Like, you don't want to be that person.
Like, you know, you want to make sure that somebody has healed through, and that
which is what I learned through my experience back in October and November, which is why I'm going to wait until I'm ready, because it's not fair to anybody.
No,
I mean, it's not fair to the person. Like, it's not.
Well, and I wish that in my last relationship, I even saw the red flag, and I even said, like, hey, let's put this on hold until you and your ex get everything figured out.
Yes.
And then he did the takeaway.
Yeah.
And if I can't have you, I don't want you. And then I gave in.
Yeah.
Because of different dynamics that happened in our relationship. Had I stuck to my guns and said, hey, let's get this figured out first. They didn't have all that figured out. And so I gave into that red flag that I knew. And in hindsight, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I think that that's what we have to identify, our boundaries, and really stick to them when we start dating.
Yeah. And we call each other out. We totally call each other. I just called her out before we came down here and started recording this.
And I listened.
Anyways.
All right. So let's play Snatched or Sketched.
Okay.
This is a fun segment that we're going to do. I'm going to read out some things, and then Amber and I are going to answer if we think it's snatched up or if it's sketched out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sketchy, right?
Yeah.
You don't want.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Round one. A 32-year-old who DMs you. I love older women.
Sketch.
Yeah, me too. Sketch. Yeah. All right.
So sketchy.
2. A 50-year-old who's never been married.
Oh. I had need more context for that. Why has he never been married? Are there red flag? Like, is there a red flag with somebody that's like they're 50 and they've never been married?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm 37 and I've never been married.
And I'm 46 and I've never been married.
So I'm snatched.
Yeah, I think snatched too. Maybe because we're biased.
Yeah, we're biased.
We're biased. Because I think that there are scenarios where that happens. Yeah. Okay, 3. A 28-year-old who pays for everything. Well, Amber's already never going to put herself in that situation, and I can't because my daughter's only, you know.
But if he wants to pay for everything, I'll say snatched. I'm just kidding.
We're not going there. So that one's sketched because we're not going to that age range.
That's too young.
Okay. A 45-year-old still living like he's 25 in mama's house.
Oh, sketched. Sketch. Yeah. Definitely sketched.
Sketched. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. Okay. I'm
actually taking care of his mother. That's
if he's so if he's taking care of his
mom, great son.
Or 2, he's living there because he's been married 20 years and he's never lived on his own since he's in his 20s. You know, mom got to help him. She got to train him up. I'd rather her train him up than me.
I think if it's because of the mom, like health things, or he is taking care of his mother, that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah,
I would be okay with that. I don't know. Not so much as if he got a divorce and left and now he's back home at mommy's house.
I'm giving some grace on that. Amber's not. Okay, so I'm saying that's okay. Amber's saying no. So, okay. What about a 38-year-old who has it all together but still goes out and parties and acts like he's 25?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's sketchy.
That's sketched out.
When you first, you were going good when you said a 38-year-old, because, I'm 37, and who has it all together. That was a good part, but no.
Yeah.
And it's one thing, like, if you like to have a good time sometimes or whatever. And
about 4 or 5 times a year.
4 or 5 times a year. So, like, if you're doing, like, we'll have get-togethers, like neighborhood get-togethers or something like that. So that's one thing when you're with your friends and stuff. But no, if you're talking about clubbing and partying and drinking, neither one of us are big drinkers anyways. No, that's unattractive.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think that's sketched
out.
That's
sketchy.
Yeah, that's sketched. Okay, last one. A guy who texts back within 5 minutes every time.
That would probably annoy me, maybe, but I mean, on the same side, that's attentive. Like, is
are you in a conversation and you're both off work, or is he texting you back every 5 minutes knowing you're at work and in the middle of something
and expecting, like,
so let's go if he's wanting to text back during the entire day and you're busy. That's
sketched out. Yeah,
but if you're in a conversation and he's being attentive,
and it's just fun,
then
and they're both flowing. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's snatched up. Yeah. So we want to hear from you.
Yep.
And so we want to know, what was your best first date?
Mm-hmm.
What was your worst first date? What are the red flags that you ignored? And we also want to know your craziest age gap story. We want to know, what does healing look for you right now? What does it look like for you right now? And are you being purposeful and intentional? And what are you not doing on purpose? So we want you to DM us at Snatched Up Podcast on either TikTok or Instagram.
Yep.
Or you can visit us at snatchedup.me
and email us too, right?
And you can email us at snatcheduppodcast@gmail.com. Yeah. Okay. So we would love to hear from you
and read some of your things out. So don't be surprised about that.
Absolutely.
So our next relationship segment, we have decided for the fun of the podcast, for the content.
Okay, so she's healing, but she's allowed to do something that's fun and for the podcast.
Yeah. So we thought it would be fun to go on some speed dating events. So we're going to select a couple that are around our area, and we are both going to go to those. And we will come back and let you know all of the details from that on our next relationship segment, and let you know what kind of men actually sign up for speed dating. Because I want to know.
Is the other one is this the Tantra one?
Okay, so I don't know. I looked at the Tantra dates.
Tantra like sex positions?
No.
What is that?
No, it was like it is different. Like the Tantra one, because they put you in this calm state of mind where you could just be.
That is. Isn't there Tantra sex?
No.
What's it called?
I think you're thinking of like Karma Sutra or something. Is that what that is? I don't know. No, but that's not it.
Okay. Well, we're not doing sexual position dating. Okay.
No, we're doing just regular speed dating and let you know all about it.
Yes.
In the next relationship segment.
Then we're going to bring back all the tea.
Yeah.
The good. Yeah. The bad.
Yeah. The ugly. What kind of men attend speed dating? Like, I just feel like it's going to be the biggest. I don't know.
Well, what kind of women?
I know.
Speed dating,
I know.
Right?
We're doing this for research purposes.
Research. Amber loves to say that we're doing things for research for our podcast, when really we're doing research because Amber likes it. So whether you're out here dating,
or you're currently still healing,
or maybe you're still trying to figure out which one you are,
we are both right now.
We absolutely are. And we have got you either way. So, but none of it works if your money's not right.
Yeah. Because money decides what you tolerate.
So the next episode, show me the money, honey.
Until then,
let's get snatched up.